Hello everyone, so today we're going to be learning about graphing a sine and cosine graph with translations in it. So it means we'll see, this is 4-2. In this section we have vertical and horizontal translations. So horizontal and vertical translations or shifts. Okay, first of all, we need to figure out how to actually determine these shifts in each equation. So let's start off with vertical shift. How do we identify vertical shift in a function? So vertical shift comes in with a number that's added to the whole function. So let's say I have sine function and there is a number that's added to the entire equation. Let's say it's k. So plus k means this whole graph would move up by k units. Let's say another equation, I have cosine x minus k. So now, again, this k is being added, subtracted to the whole equation. So it means the graph will shift down by k units. Okay, here comes horizontal shift. So what number determines the horizontal shift? So pretty much something that goes with the angle itself, which is x. It goes inside the parentheses. So that's going to be the horizontal shift. So this is how the equation is going to look like. So I have sine. Inside the parentheses, I have the angle, which is x, minus pi over 2. Okay, anytime something inside the parentheses, that describes the horizontal shift. It always goes opposite the sign. So minus means it would go to right by pi over 2. So let's say I have cosine x plus pi over 2 means it would go to left by pi over 2. So that's how we identify each shift in the function. So let's look at a few examples. So first example, I'll do it on vertical shift. So let's say I have sine x and this is plus 1. Don't forget, first three details still going to be the same. You still have to start off with the amplitude of this function, which is 1. Period sine, it's 2 pi. We divide by b, which is 1. It's still going to be 2 pi. Intervals, it's going to be pi over 2 units long. Okay, don't forget, you have to have these three details first. Next, I'm actually going to show you two different ways to graph this, and then later on, whichever one is easier, just follow that. So first way, so I'm going to start off with labeling all the intervals. I have pi over 2, then I have pi, 3 pi over 2, then I have 2 pi. So if I have to graph a normal sine function with no shifts, I would start from 0. Let me put stars this time. Then I would have amplitude value for the next one, back to 0, -1, and back to 0. Here you go. I'm not going to connect these points. Why? Because my graph has a vertical shift. So eventually I have to add 1 at the end. So I'm just going to plot stars or any other symbol for my original one. Try not to draw any solid line because then later on, once you show the shift, you're going to get confused. So I would just keep it like these dots. Next, I need to move every single dot or star with this vertical shift. Means it's plus 1 means each and every single point would move up by 1 unit. So the one that was at 0, now it would be at 1. Here you go. One that was at, so something that was at 1, now it would be at 2. This 0, this point would be at 1. This one, the one that was at -1, now it would be at 0. 0 point would be at 1. Now just connect all the new ones. And here you go. So that's one way to graph any trig function with a vertical shift in it. That's one of the ways. But let's say you don't like this. There's another way. I'm going to show you same example. So I have sine x plus 1. We still have those three details. So what I'm going to do is just like the last one, I'm going to start off with my labeling all the intervals. Here you go. Now, you have to do something slightly different right at the beginning. So whatever the shift it has, I have plus 1, means the entire graph is going up by 1. It would move up by 1 unit. So what I want you to do is, You just have to take your x-axis, move that by those many units. So if it's up 1, so it means that x-axis, my new x-axis would be at positive 1. If it's down 1, it would be at negative 1. So just draw another x-axis. So what I'm going to do exactly at 1, I'm just going to draw a dotted line. Now, the reason it needs to be a dotted line, because either ways, you can't have multiple x-axis on one graph, right? We're doing this just to make this graphing part easier. I hope you guys are with me. So based off your vertical shift, draw new, like I would say, another x-axis. Now, you know, graph sign starts from here. For the first interval, it goes up to the amplitude number. Then it comes back to 0. This one, it would be down at -1. This one back here. And then I would just connect. So basically same shape, but this now you have to draw for this new dotted line. That's what I did. If you don't like this way is another way. So either or, whichever way is easier for you, just do that. Okay, I'm going to show you one more, and then I'll see if I can draw one for horizontal shift. Okay, let's say I have cosine. Let's say it's negative cosine x, and it's +2. Amplitude would be -1, period would be at 2 pi, intervals would be at pi/2. Here you go. So I'm going to draw both. I'm going to have one way on the left side, other one on the right side. So let's say if I follow the first one. So you know cosine pi/2, pi, 3 pi/2, and 2 pi. So first thing, cosine always starts out with its amplitude, which is at -1. So again, just like the last one, I'm not going to draw a curve. Instead, I'm just going to put dots. First dot here, next dot here, then keep going. There you go. Now, it's up by 2, means every single point's going to move up by 2 units. So it means the star dot is at -1. If this moves up by 2, it would be at +1. 0 would be at +2. The one, this point, it would be at 3. The one at 0 would be at 2. The one at -1 now, it would be at +1. Here you go. And then I would just connect these points. Here you go. My other way. So same thing, I'll start off with my intervals, pi, 3 pi/2, and a 2 pi. Here you go. Now, first thing, I'm just going to draw my new x-axis, which is always based off this vertical shift. So +2 means my asymptote would be at, not asymptote, my bad, new x-axis would be at +2. Now, just treat it like, now forget about the other x-axis. Just pretend this is just new x-axis. You're just graphing a normal cosine graph. So you know it's negative amplitude. Yes, I would start from negative side, because now everything above the line is the positive side of cosine, everything under it's the negative side. Okay, then what happens for the next one? So cosine comes at 0. Then after that, cosine goes to its positive amplitude. Next interval, it comes back to 0, and the last interval, it goes back to its amplitude value. Here you go. Here you go. Don't forget, if you're following this second way, you have to make a dotted line for the other one. You can't have 2 solid x-axes on a graph. So please do so. So that's one of the things. I'm still going to show you tangent, and that's going to be all for today. So let's say I have tangent graph, tangent x, and I have, let's say, 2 tangent x plus 1. Same thing, I will start off with the amplitude, which is 2. Period, it's tangent, so it would be pi. Then we divide by b value, which is 1, so it's still going to be that. Interval is going to be pi/4. I'm just going to follow the second way. So here's, I have pi/4, pi/2, 3 pi/4, and there would be pi. You know, asymptote is going to be exactly in the middle. Now, keep in mind, if it's a vertical shift, asymptote is not going to change. It's not going to move. It's still going to be in the middle, because interval is still going to be the same. It's the shape that's going up and down. So rest of the stuff still the same. So asymptote still would be exactly in the middle. So right side goes up, another one goes down. So since I'm going by the second way, so I'm just going to have my new x-axis, which is based off this vertical shift. So +1. So this is my new x-axis at +1. So you know, tangent starts off at 0. And it goes up to its amplitude value, which is at 2, but now it's not going to be at 2. Instead, it would be 3. Other side, again, tangent's going to be, it's going to start at 0, and then it's going to be like this. Here you go. That's how the tangent graph's going to look like. So I hope this makes sense to you. So please take notes while watching the video. And then there's homework assignment, which I'm going to post on Google Classroom. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.